Welcome to another video. We are gonna design a Prada paperclip within Blender. So to get started, we're gonna see the reference. So we see a regular paperclip, we have the Prada paperclip, and there are various materials for this one. So let's get started. Within Blender, I will go on the top view by pressing 7 on the numpad, and over here I will add a reference. So Shift A, image, reference. The reference image, I already have it saved over here, which will be this one. You can find it on the web. Have that loaded in the top view. Now I'm gonna zoom in and I will convert the default cube into a vertex. So to do that, I will press Tab to go within edit mode. Afterwards M, and we see M is for merge. We're gonna merge everything. We can go at the center or at cursor. In this case, they will be overlapped. So we have all those vertices that define the cube merged into a single one. Now we're gonna grab that by pressing G in order to activate the grab tool. Afterwards, I will press X in order to move that vertex over here. Grab again, and on the Y-axis, have it positioned over here. Now we need to extrude this, therefore I will press E for extrude, and afterwards X in order to have it constrained over here. We're gonna do the same for the Y-axis, so E for extrude, afterwards Y. We're gonna go again on the X-axis, again on the Y, and we're gonna trace that paperclip, as we can see. The Y-axis again, and we're gonna finish with the X-axis over here. Now we need to add those, let's say they are called in computer-aided design fillets, so we need to add that roundness over here. In order to activate those within Blender, they are underneath bevel. Therefore, I will hold down Ctrl Shift and B to activate the bevel tool. We see that the bevel tool is now active. And if I will do a selection on those two vertices, and again Ctrl Shift B, so you have to have the selection. If I will move my mouse, we're gonna see that I can enable that. By default, this is just like a chamfer, as we have it in other CAD softwares. Therefore, I will click it once, and we're gonna have the bevel option popping over here. You can press either F9 to have that position over here. You can click on that small arrow and it will be docked over there, but with F9 you can freely move it. So for the segments I will go to 10, but it is important to add the clamp overlap. As you can see, if you're gonna check this, do not allow bevel edges vertices to overlap. This is important, so I click that. I will close the bevel, and now I'll press undo in order to have that bevel that I define with the mouse removed. So Ctrl Z once, and reactivate the bevel, Ctrl Shift B, and you're gonna see that if you're gonna move the mouse all the way to the right side, you won't be able to overlap those. So we know that this is a perfect fillet now. As it is called within SolidWorks a full rounded fillet, we're gonna do the same over here and the same over here. Now I will press Tab to leave that edit mode, and we see that this cube is currently a mesh because we have that icon, that triangle within Blender indicates a mesh. We are going to convert this to a curve, so right click on that profile that we just drew. We're going to go convert to, and we are going to convert this to a curve. You're going to see that the curve, okay, so that didn't clicked, so curve. We see now we have the curve icon over here. Therefore, we're also going to have the properties of a curve. So go within object data properties, and underneath geometry, expand that, and we can define the depth. So in this case, we're going to have the rounded profile that we are looking for. Add 0.15 for that. We're going to see that profile. We can also increase the resolution. It's currently set to 4. I'm gonna go all the way up to 8, and we also want to have those surface closed, therefore we can click the fill cap. Now we can also change the shading if we want to have a better visualization within Blender. Right click on the object and we're gonna go for auto shaded smooth, and we're gonna see how that will look a lot better. Now we need to add that Prada text. So if I'm gonna toggle X-ray, we're gonna see we're gonna have that text over there. I'm gonna go again to the top view, press Shift A to add, and we are gonna add a text. Now within Blender, if you want to change the text, you can press Tab, that will take you to edit mode, and for text you can write different text. So in this case I'm gonna type in Prada. We can also change the font over here. So we see for the regular font, we can open the font library. This will go directly to Windows, so if you're gonna have different fonts, those should also be visible over here. And I will go for Arial Rounded Bold for this case study. It's not the exact font as Prada, but this is just a case study. And afterwards, I will leave the edit mode, so I will press Tab again, so I will no longer be able to type in that text. And have the object selected, so the text. Afterwards press G in order to grab it, and if I want to move it only on the X and Y plane, I can hold down Shift and Z, and that will only allow me to move over here. Afterwards go to within the top view, have it scaled, so press S and make the text smaller. Afterwards with grab, on the X-axis and on the Y-axis, we are gonna position this. We see that the profile that was drawn is over here, so we are just gonna move this and center it over here. Afterwards I can close that X-ray, and we have that text. I'm gonna grab it and move it on the Z-axis, so that is positioned on top of the paperclip. Now with this text, we need to be able to solidify this. But if I'm gonna press Tab, we're gonna see that within edit mode I have the possibility to edit that text, but we need to convert this within a mesh, so we can do a Boolean operation in order to cut the material from the clip shape. Therefore, on the text we're gonna right click, and over here we're gonna have the possibility to convert this to a mesh. And as soon as we converted this to a mesh, if I will press Tab again, we're gonna see that we're gonna have a lot of vertices over here. So this will cause problems when dealing with Boolean cuts. Therefore, we need to do a decimate in order to deal with those. So press Tab to leave the edit mode, because we need also to apply that bevel, that decimate, sorry. So press Tab. We're gonna go to the modify, and we're gonna search for decimate. And within decimate we have the possibility to go for a planar decimate. So we see this is before applying the decimate, and if I'm gonna click over here and have this applied, I will again press Tab to go within edit mode. We're gonna see that a high amount of vertices were removed. But still, we should do a little bit of cleaning before we're gonna solidify this. Therefore, within edit mode, press A to select everything. And we're gonna go all the way up to the mesh. And we're gonna see over here, we have the possibility to do a merge by distance in this case. And expand that merge by distance. And I will type in 0.01. And as soon as I will press enter, I'm gonna see that a high amount of vertices will be removed. We also have a notification over here, so a total of 141 vertices were removed. Still, we have quite a lot of vertices over there, so we can do an additional cleanup step over here. So we can go to delete, And over here we can do limited dissolve. As you can see, this will dissolve selected edges limited by the angle of the surrounding geometry. So in this case I will go for limited dissolved. I will type in a maximum angle of 10, and we're gonna see that again a high amount of those points have been removed. So we have that defined, but now I see that for the Prada logo, for that D, we no longer gonna have the middle section removed. So select that inner surface and have that deleted. So we see that if I'm just gonna delete the face, it will automatically be linked with the rest. Therefore, we should find a different solution for this one. So we should have that inner surface cut. Now we're gonna see those are no longer combined. Therefore, we should do a cut, a Boolean cut between those before. So this is mainly for because I use the rounded text. Other texts won't have this this problem with some of the inner elements. But nevertheless, I can press P to select this by selection. So we're gonna have once the Prada text and one that inner D. Now, with the initial text, I'm gonna go to the modify, and over here I will apply a solidify for this. I will go with a thickness of 0.3, and afterwards I will select the D, and again I will add a solidify for this profile as well. I will go with 0.4 in this case, or even 0.5, and afterwards I will make sure that this will properly overlap the other text, so we can do the cut. Now, before I'm gonna do the cut, to have a better visualization, we should also change some of the normals, but let's take a look at how we can do that Boolean and what will be those visualization problems. So have that solidify applied over here for both of those. Now with the Prada text selected, go on modify, add a Boolean. The Boolean should be on difference, and we should use the fast solver, and for the secondary object I'm going to select that D element, and we're going to see that if you're going to hide that, this will be the final mesh. Have that Boolean applied because we are going to move everything closer to the paper clip, so we can have that cut. So press G, and on the Z-axis have this enter that paper clip. So this should be the section that we are gonna have removed, and we're gonna do the same Boolean operation. So we're gonna apply it on the cube. So we have over here add modifier. I'm gonna go for the bevel, but as we can see currently the cube doesn't enable a bevel, and the reason is because this is still a curve, because we had a mesh since we started with default cube, so we have to convert this again to a mesh. So right click, convert, we have this converted to a mesh, and now we have the possibility to apply a Boolean operation on the paper clip. It will be the same difference, so the object that we want to cut is the Prada text, and we're gonna see some weird shading over here. So as you can see, we have those highlights around the text. So I will just press undo. So before we're gonna do that, we're gonna need to change the cube over here within object data properties. We're gonna go to the normals, and we're gonna apply an auto smooth on 30 degrees by default. And if I'm gonna apply the bevel again with that auto smooth selected, we're gonna see that the mesh will only have one line over here. Okay, so keep that in mind. And now the cut has already been done. If I will hide the text, we're gonna see how that will look over there. So we have that mesh cut over there. So we can apply this, And afterwards we can go and hide the reference. So I'm gonna select this reference image, press H in order to hide it. And I will use Blender Kit to rapidly texture this. So I'm gonna type in gold on the material. If you're not using Blender Kit, I highly recommend. This is something that for me, since I transitioned to Blender from 3ds Max and Keyshot, this really helps with the materials. So if for some reason the search won't work, I'm going to type in again gold, searching for gold, and it should work. It usually works without any problem. So let me search initially for a material. So for a model, let's say car, searching for car, we see that the Blender Kit add-on started to work. So for the material, we're gonna have that gold. If you encounter those problems, just change the search category over here, and that should work. So I'm gonna add this gold texture once over here. We also need to swap the visibility. So currently we are within viewport shading solid, but if you're gonna go for material preview, you're gonna see how that golden clip will look like. And if you wanna make another copy of this, we can have it selected. I'm gonna press Alt and D for duplicate. I will move it along the y-axis over here, and you're gonna see if we press Alt and D for duplicate, these two should be linked. So we can uncheck that linked. And if I will type in over here, let's make the second one something like steel, I can add the texture, and that will be the final look. Okay. So I hope that you find this video useful. There are a lot of hotkeys that I've presented, but I highly recommend that you use hotkeys within Blender. This is something that I highly appreciate within Blender, the high amount of customability and hotkeys that make it a lot easier to design stuff. So comparing this with CATIA V5, especially Imagine and Shape, this is a whole different story, and it's much more friendly. So if you find this content useful, I will position a similar video over here to the left and a subscribe button to the right. So thanks for watching.